This is St. Louis on the Air from St. Louis Public Radio. I'm Elaine Cha. Who of us has not heard the phrase, New Year, New Me? Turning over to a new calendar brings about many declarations about changing habits and making improvements in the year to come. But you don't have to create a wholly new version of yourself to do and be better. That's at the heart of what's motivating Nico Marie McNeese. Nico is a DJ and yogi from St. Louis with a mission to get folks to move on the dance floor, in a yoga studio, or in their own homes. She has a new project called Meeting Myself for the First Time, and it's an album and a first for her. Nico, welcome back to St. Louis on the Air.
Thank you for having me, Elaine. Happy to be back.
Yes, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We also have in studio Damon Davis, multidisciplinary artist and one of Nico's collaborators on this album. Damon, welcome back to you as well.
Thank you. Great to see you, Elaine.
Great to see you. So, Nico, you've been on the show before, and in the past you've talked about two of your passions, and that's music and yoga. Mm-hmm. How is it that you ended up recording an album, though? Mm-hmm. That's something that's very new.
I know,
right?
It's extremely new, and it's exciting. Well, I've had my YouTube channel for a while now, about 3 years, and I will keep getting comments on my videos about my voice. A lot of my subscribers might say my voice is calming, and I had one in particular even say, I don't even do the yoga video. I just want to listen to your voice. And I was like, I want to be able to make that accessible to my audience if they feel like that's something that makes them feel calm, makes them feel good. And it was just such an easy transition because I'm a music lover anyway, a DJ of 13 years this year. And so it was like kismet,
Yeah.
It's like something I never thought that I would be doing, but something I knew I would do as a kid. I knew I was going to do something musical.
Mm-hmm. So does that mean that you practiced as a child, maybe doing something that you would record in your own voice?
Yes, like throughout my life, I can't even, like the creative kids know, like when you're younger, you're just making songs, you're just recording stuff. I've recorded songs all throughout life. I have no idea where they are, what they're doing. Some of them I hope, can just stay where they're at. But yeah, I've been doing that a long time, and my mom, she had me like in choir and dance class and all of that. So it's just like it just made so much sense.
Right.
It's like everything was kind of leading up to this point.
Mm-hmm. So you were made ready.
I was made ready.
Way.
Yes, I'm thankful that my parents poured into my creativity.
Mm-hmm. Now, collaboration is something that is a very big part of what you're doing, and you have collaborated with a number of artists from different media backgrounds, including Damon, who's sitting here with us. How is it that you approached Damon to get involved? What was that conversation like?
Well, I've been a fan of Damon's work for a long time. He had a project, and there was a song on there, Lady in the Water, and I bought the vinyl that Damon came out with, and it was just such a beautiful presentation from visually to musically. It was exactly the vibe I would hope for what I was doing. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, hey, Damon, I'm doing this project. Like, are you interested in doing this with me? And Damon was on board. And it was, we respect each other as artists. So it was just easy for us to link up and make it happen.
Yeah. So when you heard Nico describe what it is she was thinking about and making some connections to your own work, you're a very busy man. What was it about what she said to you that made you decide this is worth investing your time and energy in?
Well, that definitely busy, but so is Nico. I know that. So back to what she was saying about a mutual respect. So the idea that she came to me with all the time all the other projects she was working on and she wanted to do this, first and foremost, I took it seriously.
Yeah.
But the main thing was we had a conversation at my studio, and I remember her saying, this is something that could help people. This is something I think we could use to help people. And That's what I'm invested in right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of stuff I could be doing, but I'm trying to at least put something out into the world that's worth it. And this felt like that. And yeah, like I just want to. It's sometimes it's much better to be the supporting cast. I think a lot of times I got to lead stuff. So she was like, I got an idea, and I was like, okay, now I can get in there and just help you achieve it. You know, and that was another thing that was very enticing to me to collaborate in that way. Yeah.
So the title of the album, Nico, and it does come out, it will be coming out in the spring, you said. The title is Meeting Myself for the First Time.
Yes.
So the title itself is it's intriguing.
Yeah.
What does it mean to meet yourself? You know, and how is it that someone does that?
Well, it was really inspired by my journey through yoga and meditation. Like beforehand, you know, pandemic was happening and I was doing yoga, but not daily. And I started, you know, I dedicated myself to doing yoga daily. Like, how can this help me? How can this impact my life? What can this do for me? And I just noticed a complete transformation in myself, physically, mentally, and it was a reawakening, and it opened my eyes up to all the possibilities of everything I could do with my life. It really made me feel much more limitless and much more confident in going and pursuing things I enjoy, you know. So I'm lucky to be able to have, you know, to do this full time, to be a full-time creative, and seeing myself in that light was like, wow, you all this time, like, you didn't even know that you can do this, that you can reach thousands and thousands of people and help them, and also feel good when you look in the mirror and feel good about the person you are and who you're becoming and what you're learning through your life. And it's like, it's like when I'm looking at myself, when I think about myself, and I think about who I am now, and I, you know, come outside of myself and I look at me, it's like, wow, you know, wow, you're doing it. You're doing the things you wanted to do. So it's just a feel good. It just feels good.
Right. Yoga is very fluid, but getting to that point, I imagine, does not look the way it does when people see it after someone like you, and even in those times when you're trying something that is different, right? That it is not an easy thing. Was the mental transformation that you were talking about similar? Were there obstacles or hindrances that you met with that you weren't expecting, or after coming through them, you know, put you in a place where you can be sitting here talking with me about an album that you've created?
Oh, there was an immense amount of obstacles, like mentally, physically. Like when I wasn't feeling my best, I mean, I was having like chest pains. And I'm like, I had a panic attack for the first time. I went to urgent care. I said, I think I'm having a heart attack. And they're like, no. And, you know, what was so interesting is that they were like, are you stressed? You know, I said, I have a stressful job. And the doctor said to me, you have to quit your job.
Oh, wow.
And this is during the pandemic. Like, I'm like, quit my job? But, I mean, that sticks to you. That sticks to you. Like, clearly something in my life is not working. And my body, not even just my mind, my body is telling me. My body is telling me this is not right. You don't feel good. You're not happy. You're not, you know, jovial. And, you know, to this day, I still have struggles on a daily basis mentally. I feel like we all do have our daily struggles, but I am lucky and blessed to be able to have the tools to be able to move through them, to be able to reflect. You know, if I feel like I didn't handle a situation well, I can look back and do it better next time and just improve and grow and try to be better every day.
And Damon, as Nico has been speaking, I've seen you nodding over here. As far as yoga and meditation go, are those part of your own personal practices too? And was the nodding motivated partly by what you recognize and what Nico's talking about?
Well, I will say I'm not as disciplined with the yoga as Nico is. She is a yogi. Sometimes I fall off, but the meditation part is something my mind is always moving, and I had to learn how to use meditation to center myself. And even when we were working on this project, sonically, I'm producing. I'm always making stuff to make people move, right, and movement, and either motivating them to dance or to go out and do something. That's what I'm usually thinking about. But this one was about being still, right? And that's what I really was trying to encapsulate, was stillness, so that you could hear what Nico is saying, and so that you could meditate. Like it's about sitting still and being in that place. And so I resonate with how much stress the world puts on you and having to have an outlet. And art has been that outlet for me since I was a child, and I just was lucky enough to turn it into a job. But even that, now that I'm getting older, that's not enough. So that's where the meditation comes in. I have to pick up other practices to stay healthy. And so that's one of the main reasons that I signed on to work with on this project, because what meditation can do for people.
Did you find yourself meeting yourself for the first time in some ways as you've been working on this, Damon?
I think so. I think I do that daily, because I believe in the idea that who I am just sitting here with you. In 20 minutes, I might be somebody different. I let go of I'm trying not to stay in the same place, because I think growth is life. You should be growing until you die. So that's another reason why I really resonated with what Nico was saying about being the self-awareness of seeing yourself, of being able to step out of yourself and meet that person that stands before you. I'm trying to do that all the time. And definitely in creative endeavors, I'm always meeting a new side of me. So I say, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Nico, how much of Damon's response reflects what you were imagining your album could do?
I mean, it's him saying, talking about like that stillness and, just having to face yourself daily, and that the ways that you grow and evolve each day, and accepting that, and just trying your best to be better, trying your best to improve, be a better person. But yeah, I'm hoping that other people can get a sense of the same feeling and really understand that and hear words and sounds that are going to create positive vibrations within your body. They're going to put positive messages in your brain that are, hopefully sink into your subconscious and, maybe reflect on your outside world and how you interact with people day to day, just really promoting that self-kindness, that loving kindness towards yourself, and then being able to spread that to other people.
Mm-hmm. Interaction with yourself, that can be kind of scary.
Very
right?
scary.
As you're doing this work, what is it that helps you to push through those times when maybe what you're looking at or what you're feeling is not at that positive place or cannot be sort of put into that frame in that moment?
It's so important to, I have no problem with a pivot. Like if I'm not happy with something, if I feel like it's not happening the way it should be happening, or if I don't feel good about it, I can express that. I can be verbal about it, and it's important to have. Luckily, I have people around me who are open to hearing those words and understanding and making it to where we're all happy with what's happening, But I had to really say, well, at the end of the day, like, if you're not happy with this, it's not going to give the result that you're hoping for it to give, because it's not rooted and born in that. So it's so important for it to be born out of love, happiness, kindness, a willingness to help others. So yeah, I have no problem with a pivot. And it's also like remembering that this is something fun. This is something, this is a fun venture.
Yeah.
I don't want to put unnecessary pressures on myself. Oh my God, I have to, this deadline, just making sure that I'm enjoying myself through it. And again, that is birthed out of calmness and love. We don't want it to be birthed in chaos or feeling rushed, because then it wouldn't translate well. It wouldn't have the right intentions in my mind. So just the way I wanted other people to feel when they hear it, that's the environment I have to create as I'm creating it.
Mm-hmm. And on that note, we're going to take a very quick break. But when we come back shortly, we're going to listen to a little bit of what is on this forthcoming album, Meeting Myself for the First Time. This is St. Louis on the Air on St. Louis Public Radio.
The Gateway brings you the day's news each weekday from around the St. Louis region and the state capitals in Jefferson City.
Our schools are accredited. We don't need this bill.
And Springfield.
How many more years must pass before lawmakers see time is of the essence?
I'm Abby Larico. Join me each weekday for The Gateway on the STLPR app or wherever you get podcasts.
Welcome back. We'll return to our conversation with Nico Marie McNeese and Damon Davis in just a moment. But first, moments ago, Mike Kehoe was sworn in as Missouri's 58th governor. The former lieutenant governor won a highly contested Republican primary last fall and easily bested Democrat Crystal Quaid in the general election. We'll have full coverage of Kehoe's inauguration this afternoon and online at stlpr.org. And later this month, we'll carry Kehoe's State of the State address. That's on January 28th. Now let's return to our conversation with Nico Marie McNeese, St. Louis yogi and DJ, and Damon Davis, multidisciplinary artist. We're discussing DJ Nico Marie's forthcoming album, Meeting Myself for the First Time. And before the break, we promised a listen to something that's on this album. This is the first single from the album. It's titled Begin, and we are getting a first listen. This has not been shared yet. We're getting a first listen to this. So let's hear a bit of Begin.
No one else on earth is like you. Every day, opportunity arises. Every morning, the sun washes your slate clean. You are deserving of everything you desire.
And that is Begin from the album Meeting Myself for the First Time by DJ Nico Marie. Nico, how would you describe the music on this album? What is the genre, for example?
We've been saying it's like new age, meditation. It's really unique from anything I've heard, I could say like the words I like to use are ethereal, ambient, calming, and luckily Damon has a large library of sounds for us to play along with. And we
Right.
even have on our album, on the album version, we're going to have like singing bowls. We actually had a girl, her name is Jeray, and Jeray came in and she recorded singing bowls live in the studio. So we're going to have live singing bowl sound.
Was it hard to stay sort of in recording mode, listening to those singing bowls? I mean, it's a very distinct sound.
I mean,
right?
everybody in the actual control room was quiet.
Yeah.
Everyone was calm. It was just it's just the vibrations. You feel it in your body. It's hard not to relax. It's
Yeah.
like if it's not relaxing you, then I don't know.
Oh, right. We've had singing bowls here, actually, right where you're sitting,
wow.
played. Damon, one of the descriptions for what you do, what you are, is post-disciplinary. Is there a way that this is post-genre?
That's a great description when I think about it, especially with what Nico was saying. Yeah, my concentration sonically was not to sit in the genre. It was about feeling and emotion and capturing that. And especially once Nico came to me and told me the layout of the whole album. Like she had an idea for a whole album, and I am in love with concept albums. Like it should, each song should be a scene in a movie. So what is the movie about, right? And so I think the genre was not on our minds. It was certain aspects she wanted me to check out, but nothing was like we gonna make an R&B album. We gonna make a instrumental album. It was like what's the feeling we trying to capture, and let's pull sounds and textures to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Nico, the way that Begin it starts, it speaks to a you. Right. Yeah. Here you are, and you know what a privilege it is to be you.
Yes.
To what extent is that you, others, and how much of it is Nico?
I think that the words are meant for you to think about the self, you know, and they just come through me. They just come through my voice, you know. But my hope is that when you hear it in your mind, you know, you feel like there's a part of yourself speaking to you. You know, here you are, you're special. You know, you can have anything you want in the world, you know, and my hope is that it translates to I can have anything I want in the world. I am special, you know, and it anytime that I am like saying words that are in a meditation or even in yoga, I'm talking to myself at the same time. You know what I mean? I'm talking to myself. What a privilege it is to be able to be here right now in this space on STLPR. What a privilege it is to be able to create a meditation project with Damon Davis, you know, rooted and working with people from St. Louis. What a privilege it is to be sitting in a warm space with a jacket on, you know, like it's everything is a privilege. Everything is a blessing. And I constantly want to remind myself that you have so much, you know, and I want people to remember that even when you feel like you don't have a lot, you have a whole lot.
Damon, in 2018, you released an album titled The Holy Mountain, and it was a series of compositions that you created as daily meditations while on a retreat in Wyoming. Very different environment than where we're sitting now. How did that experience of making an album that was specific to meditation, how did that affect how you worked with Nico on this project? Or, I mean, was there a connection?
I think so, and I think I have been in a space where I'm trying to make music that is almost soundtrack to life sort of stuff for a while. And I also got to do a project with one of my best friends, another contemporary artist, Basil Kincaid, that was specific to an art installation, but it was him reading mantras and me scoring it. So it was I guess another meditation tape. I like the term meditation tape, you know what I'm saying? So when Nico came to me, I was primed, you know what I'm saying? I was ready for it, and it was the time in my life where I needed to go back to that because things were very hectic, and I get my stuff out through my art. So I was very humbled and grateful for her to even think about me. So exactly that, like I've been in the gym on that type of music for a while, and I think this was the time to actually get with somebody else and do it again.
Yeah. Nico, this album is one that you have made specifically for Black people who are living in urban areas, right? How is it that you imagine this album being played, given the people and the spaces that they so often find themselves in?
Well, I think a big gateway for that was like my YouTube, was like being able to reach small sectors of people, or, you know, people like a whole lot of people have access to the internet. So when I thought about that, and, you know, people saying stuff like, this is my first time doing yoga, or this is my first time being in this kind of space, because a lot of those type of healing and holistic ways of healing or mental health spaces are not accessible in certain places, or people feel like those places aren't for them to be at, or they don't feel welcome, or that a lot of people would say, I never thought yoga was for me, or they don't have an understanding of what yoga or meditation is. A lot of people think it's like, well, I can't sit and think of nothing. It's like, well, that's not what meditation is at all. You know, you're going to have a lot of thoughts, but it's about coming back. It's about coming back after you have those thoughts. So my hope is that like music will be a gateway to the bigger world that is meditation. Music is something that relates to everybody. You know what I mean? Whether it's tapping your foot on the ground, or listening to whatever you like to listen to, music is something that speaks to everybody no matter what kind of form it is. So I was hoping that the music could just be, a gateway for the meditation. Like the music is the river and the meditation is the boat. You know what I mean? Traveling upon that river and getting to people like, oh, I'm special. I love myself. I'm hearing words that they might not have heard in music that they listen to, or that they might have heard but doesn't resonate in the way that it does. So it's just another really impactful way to send a message, and it's the message is already within you. It's just like I'm just reminding you of that message.
We're sitting here in the beginning of 2025, and the single "Begin" will release on streaming platforms on January 24th. What is the significance of that date and when the whole album will be released?
So we picked the 24th because earlier in that week, Inauguration Week is happening. I know a lot of people are going to be stressed, confused, not sure of where their place in the world, or, what's going to happen. And, a big part of meditation is bringing you to the now, understanding that there are an infinite amount of things out of your control. You can't control the past, you can't control the future, but what you can control is how you feel about yourself in the moment. So being able to have a moment where you can feel like you have some control over something. You have some control over your destiny, or where you end up. I feel like that's why it was so important for it to come out during that day, because I know there's going to be a lot of chaos, a lot of news, and a lot of things that are stressful, aside from daily stressors, from whoever is listening, aside from their daily stressors. It's like, well, here's something you don't have to be stressed about. Here's something you can enjoy and hopefully makes you feel good.
DJ Nico Marie, or Nico Marie McNeese, is a St. Louis yogi and DJ. Damon Davis is a multidisciplinary artist who has been collaborating with DJ Nico on her forthcoming album. Thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The single "Begin" can be streamed on all music streaming platforms on January 24th. The entire album, Meeting Myself for the First Time, will be released in the spring.
This episode was produced by Maya Norfleet.
Our audio engineer is Aaron Dorr. This podcast was mixed and edited by Aaron.
Our executive producer is Alex Hoyer.
St. Louis on the Air is a production of St. Louis Public Radio. Understanding starts here.
Do you find yourself regularly listening to episodes of St. Louis on the Air? Suggest us to a friend you think might enjoy our conversations, and leave us a review and rating on Apple Podcasts on the App Store. It's the simplest way to help people discover our show. Thank you.
St. Louis Public Radio is a member-supported service of the University of Missouri St. Louis.